All right, we have a public comment on our agenda up first. So are there any members of the public that would like some time to speak? No? All right. Okay, so we're to the topic of the meeting tonight, our unfinished business of website renovation. We had 6 quotes, I think, is that right?
5, I think.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah Franz, Jeffrey Smith Woolams,
Mhm.
Revise, MuniWeb, and STG.
Yep.
So, and they really range the gamut from one-pagers to multi-page color information overload. So does anybody want to start off a discussion?
I could. I went and looked at every one of these a lot. And Revise, I have a real issue with because it's 100% proprietary, which means that if something ever happened to our website and we had to start over, we didn't want Revise anymore, we have to start from scratch because they make it all proprietary. So nothing else works with Revise but Revise. So once they have you in their grips, you're there.
Mhm.
MuniWeb seems okay. Once again, I didn't see where they use WordPress. So that
Mhm.
kind of puts them into proprietary also. The other 2, I haven't seen any work from Jeff. Doesn't mean he's not good at all. Sarah Franz did both of my websites. She's a great lady to work with. She's pretty simple. The one that I really like is STG. That's my personal preference. I don't know how anyone else feels. I got them guys off of the MTA website.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's where I stand. My 2 cents worth. I like STG because they use WordPress. They're very reasonable. They're a very small company. I like small companies. You can get through to them. You can speak with them. They're pretty easy to deal with for the most part. And they've done some very nice websites.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. MuniWeb, like you said, one of the things I did is I went through and I just wrote bottom line the price on the covers, and so MuniWeb was attractive, but they were a lot more. It was more than STG.
It's about in the same ballpark as Revise. Right.
What's that, Sandy?
It's about in the same ballpark as Revise. MuniWeb.
Right. That for Revise, that was completely customizable. I know they had 2 different quotes. The one that was 8,500 was the one where you could customize it instead of using their templates.
Mhm.
But I thought that MuniWeb looked at kind of, the layouts had kind of a busy feel,
Mhm.
fluttered to me.
I really liked websites that came out of STG.
Yeah, Kate and I talked about that, Rod, and there was one it's langsburg.us. I don't know if you had a chance to look that up, but that was a great website. It was a little antiquated, but the layout was so user-friendly.
I'm sorry. you waffled on the important word.
Langsberg.us. So that's LAIN.
I got the name, but it was your comment about them that garbled and I couldn't hear. It wasn't, I missed the detail on the positive thing you were saying.
It's just laid out very well. It's very user friendly, very easy. You know, when you click on things, you have a sense of, you can find what you need. That layout really
Yeah.
stood out to us when we were looking at these.
I saw a few of those from those guys. The feel of their websites were really nice. We're talking about STG right now, Kurt.
Okay,
Oh, hi, Kurt.
hello.
Yeah, so, and I agree. I think it's appealing to me to engage a company that has had practice in municipal websites.
Yes.
It's going to help us. It's going to make it more user friendly. They already know how it's structured. So that's going to make it much better for us. When I looked through them, I had my team look too, and he was pointing out, like, I think STG was the one that talked about like sustainability. And he's like, oh, that's good. That means that they, you know, they're going to make it, but give it to you. Like, you are going to be the ones that would be maintaining it, which is what we wanted to do anyway, instead of having just someone else, you know, handle it like some of these other were.
They actually give us both options. They
Right.
are willing to take on full responsibility for it or partial. They're willing to be as involved as we want them to be.
Right, yes, they do have these options on the back for fully managed or supported. So, right, but the options there, that's appealing too. That's nice, right?
Very much so.
Are you talking about the silver package versus the gold package? Which
Yeah.
is not that much different in price.
I got a little bit confused over the silver versus the
Me
gold.
too.
Yeah, me too.
The
Me too.
silver package is giving you 50 pages and 125 link documents, but the gold package is giving you 35 with 125, but they also give you fillable PDFs and
Right.
submittable electronic forms.
I like that, Rod. That would be awesome. Like if somebody wants a FOIA, they just fill out the form online.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that too.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
The gold package is pretty appealing, just because of a couple of little things that they add into that.
We should find out though about that number of pages. I mean, just ask them, no matter even what we decide tonight, because I almost wonder if that's a typo.
Me
Like,
too.
why would,
Typo.
you know, why would the higher package have less available pages?
I did too.
Right.
I really thought that was a typo too. And I thought, did they switch the two but then I thought, okay, no, after I read through them again, you get a little bit more with the gold package, but you get less pages. So that was kind of baffling. And they make sure that you remain ADA compliance constantly. Which I don't see where that would change, but evidently maybe it does because they offer that. I'm not really sure.
I don't know.
So Rod, so I know that GoDaddy, what do we pay GoDaddy for? And I just want to make sure, and I think you and I have talked a little bit about this, but like that, what do we pay them for then that maybe we don't need in one of these packages, or are they two completely separate functions?
I think they're two completely separate functions because GoDaddy is a hosting. We did have a proposal from GoDaddy. It was pretty bare bones and it was $3,500. I didn't like the way that they didn't bring things forward.
Mm-hmm.
They were really excited to get me a proposal, and I talked to them extensively about the proposal, and I talked to them again after the proposal and told them didn't really care for it. I didn't care for the proposal, and I got questions from, maybe it was you, Amanda, that gave questions that I didn't like it.
Hmm.
And I got it, and I just didn't like that quote.
What do we pay them for? What do we pay them for? It's for, if
We're
it's
paying
not
them,
hosted.
we're paying them for our web hosting, and we're paying them for security, for intrusion.
Okay,
So a question that I have then is the website itself then also has security, comma, question mark.
Wait a minute, which one, Sandy?
This township website.
Yes, we do have a pretty high grade of security that blocks all the intrusions.
Okay,
I've sent you guys all, at one time or another,
yeah,
the report, and it's just mind-boggling, the intrusion that tries to get through. And I have that on both of my websites too, that I pay for.
yeah.
And
Oh, we have to have the best we can get for sure.
absolutely, and
It changes every day.
yep.
Is that the SSL certificate? I'm trying to remember what verbiage,
No,
what reflects the security.
we just changed that to save us quite a bit of money. We dropped the C panel. I gotta think about this now, because I haven't looked at it again since we did it. And I'd have to pull up their emails. But the security that they run blocks all different kinds of intrusions from getting through. People make a lifetime out of trying to get into websites, back doors.
Or hacking your stuff.
It's appalling the number of people that are trying to get in, and the countries that are trying to get in to websites. They set up programs where they just come in and they hit back doors on these websites and continuously try to hack into them. And when they get one that they get into, they're in heaven. And you can see from the reports that I've sent you, the number of intrusions that come through there weekly in the different countries.
Right.
It is absolutely mind-boggling what gets blocked. And that's what took our website down one night at a meeting, if you guys all.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Mhm, mhm.
And I stayed with GoDaddy until 10 o'clock that night to get all of that corrected and fixed and set up that security so that it wouldn't happen again. And so the first thing that I did after that with mine was I went to them and I contacted them and talked to them about my websites because somebody tried to get into mine. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna have all this money wrapped up in this website build and the hosting and everything else to get somebody that can get in it and destroy it and hold you ransom.
So we wouldn't need any hosting then, because they're already handling that, right? We're already good. GoDaddy's doing that.
They are.
Okay,
Patrick has his hand raised.
sure. Hi, Patrick.
Yeah, I know this is not the right time. I didn't have anything to say in public comments. I didn't know which way the discussion was going to go, but I do have a couple comments if I could.
You sure?
One thing is, on the security topic, there are different kinds of attacks, right? And we have to make sure that they're all covered. There's of course the one where they're maybe trying to get in and steal information, hack into the site, steal information, or vandalize the site in some place, in some way. And then there's the other kind called a denial of service attack.
Yep.
Where they try to bring down your website so nobody can access it.
Mm.
I think that's what hit us before, right?
That's what did us before, exactly.
Right. And it all depends on who's hosting the website. Sometimes you can get somebody to build a website on a well-known hosting platform that has this security already built into it.
Couldn't agree more.
Maybe that's GoDaddy. I know for Agricole, we got it built on Squarespace, right? Which also is my second comment, that some of these platforms are much easier to maintain than others. I have found that Squarespace is very easy to maintain, and anybody without a computer background can learn how to do it. I mean, almost anybody, right?
But it's also not a very safe platform.
Right. Those are things to consider, right? I was not aware of the safety issues, but you should know how, just roughly what it takes to maintain it before you make a decision, whatever platform you choose.
Patrick, I'm gonna send you one of my own personal reports that I get, which is the same thing that the township gets, but I'll send you one of mine and let you see exactly what they block, what tries to come in and what they block. You'll be floored. But I will send that to you.
Oh, from one of the proposals or
One of
our
mine.
present service
One of my websites.
on your websites, yeah.
But we have the same thing for the township. But rather than share the township data, I'll share mine with you.
Okay, so you know pretty much what kinds of threats you have to watch out for, and whoever's going to be hosting this thing, it's not necessarily the web developer, but the
Right.
hosting platform,
Right,
once it's operational.
right.
Right.
It needs to be evaluated according to all those different threats. And, there's site vandalism, there's leakage of data, your privacy concerns, there's denial of service, and a bunch of other things. And I guess you already know, Rod, so.
Yep.
Anyway, don't mean to interrupt your meeting, but yeah, definitely.
Thanks for bringing it up, Patrick.
But-
We're happy
And
to.
also,
you.
make sure it's maintainable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, something I am particularly interested in is that residents be able to pay their tax bills through the website.
They can't. We don't accept credit cards.
What?
We don't accept credit cards. We never have.
Other communities let people pay online. Why would we not?
It's a tremendous amount of work that I'm not willing to take on. I don't have a,
I'm sorry.
they have a staff to handle all that. I don't.
Well, and maybe, maybe it's something that if we looked into that, maybe we do. Maybe it's something the accountant could do. I don't know, for taxes, I can see where that would be difficult. But I can see also where it would be easy, it would be appealing. You probably would capture more. I don't know, maybe people are like, click at home. So, I mean, I can see, and I also think it would be nice if we were able to take payment for, ZBA or, all of these different things that people pay for. It would be nice.
Yes.
One thing
Maybe
that
that's something we can look at in the future.
Yeah, and one thing we have to think about is the fees, because we're not allowed to have fees taken out of taxes. So fees get tacked in on top of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
On top of the, yeah, I see what you mean.
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Possible to do because other communities do it and there's no reason for us not to.
If you want to be the staff to take care of it, not a
We
problem.
want to talk to the web people and tell them what we want, and then they'll make it happen.
They don't take care of that. There are companies out there that do the credit card sales for you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of work on the back end for me.
Well, gosh, maybe there should be somebody helping you.
I don't think one person helping. You're looking at like people like Scioto Township, Ipsy Township. They take credit cards. They have a office staff.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. There's
Well-
many more people.
Yep.
And we're not far from that. I mean, we're pretty far from Scioto Township, but we've all been talking in our office, so we are not the part-time township office of yesteryear. So
Right.
I think, Sandy, I hear you and I take your point, and I think that would be great. I think it seems as though, we could let them know this is what we intend to do or we would like to do in the future, but I think maybe it is another entity or another outfit that we would get with to set up that, credit card transaction thing. So
Sure.
why don't we think about it and look into it? We're going to be budgeting before we know it for next year. And if, let's explore. Let's.
What you mean, Rod, is like ages ago, I got a parking ticket in Ann Arbor and I had to contact somebody in like Pittsburgh to
Yeah.
pay the ticket. So they're like, what do you call that person in between?
Third party.
Third party. So if we have to get a third party to do that, then, I mean,
We
it's
do.
just, I don't know how it works. I just need to find out. We just need to find out how to make it work. I'm sure there are people who will do absolutely anything if we pay them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then, being able to complete forms online.
I think that's great.
Yeah. And if we can, so there's some kind of a grant from the state of Michigan that you can apply for. But one of the many requirements is that you have your financial information online, which we don't have. And we should look into doing that.
Mhm.
So it sounds to me like something to think about is like, for instance, with STG, you can pay them $750 a year and they'll do like everything.
To maintain the
Mhm.
website, yes.
Right. Which I think sounds kind of dreamy.
Susan might agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the content, then each department has to write up whatever they want known or said about them. The people who are doing the web don't write anything. We give them all of the information and just make it available.
We do.
Mhm.
So we either look at hiring them for hiring whoever we go with for a year at X number of dollars, or we look at hiring a person whose job it is to do the updates to the website.
And you won't get a person to do that for $750 a year. That's what STG charges for that.
Right, I know, I have to go back and read that a couple of more times.
Well, Sandy, what I think would be good is if we went with that option to have them update the website, we still want to train staff. So if there are things we need to do quickly, we can do that. Kate and I have been talking about that. We sat down with Rafiq so that she can take over the duties that he is doing. So we'll definitely want some trained so that we can
Absolutely.
do,
Once you get into WordPress, it's not real awful bad as if the
No.
site's done right. Because I do all mine now. I mean,
Yeah,
mine goes from adding product to it, and I accept credit cards through PayPal that's set up on my website to do
Yeah.
that, but I pay the fees, so it's a big deal.
Mm.
My Record Shows of America website, I take care of all of that.
Yeah.
Once you get into WordPress and it's set up right,
mhm.
it's not too bad to do.
Right. And I think I mentioned to you that somebody I work with, the person who does all of the websites, all 20 something in the department that I worked in, ran and looked at ours and said, well, your WordPress is outdated. And I mean, there are just so
Mm.
many issues
Right.
that, I mean, I looked tonight because for some reason I forgot what my email address was. And my email address is not there.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. It just is so disturbing.
Oh, that's too bad, Sandy. We'll get that
It isn't there either, so
fixed.
eventually it
Oh,
will.
goodness. Yeah.
I want to get
Well-
everything right this time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Every- I want to get everything right this time.
Oh my heavens, yes.
So I hope, and I think, also, I'm sure everyone, I don't know if everyone's aware that minutes on demand page where we archive all the minutes and all the agendas, that's a separate, entity. That's a different outfit. When you click on that, you'll see it's a different, like, it looks like it's a different website. It's not Sylvan-Township
right.
anymore. So, and they have, so, I mean, I would love to maintain them. Hopefully STG can work with them and leave that page still there. I saw in their offerings, they had a calendar of events, and that reminded me that there's a nice calendar function on that Minutes on Demand website. So when you post an agenda, you can make a link to it that will go to the calendar. So I would love to see that. And I think we're just underutilizing the Minutes on Demand feature, because it would be great to have a calendar. How easy would it for people to go, click on the day, there's the meeting, click on the meeting, there's the link, or, the information. So I just want to remind everybody, that's a separate thing that we pay for that I think is valuable, and hopefully
Kenneth,
whoever we use.
what that is on there, and I don't know if you understand it or not, but what it is it's just a square text block with an embedded link in it. So that when you click it, it just sees that link behind that box and it goes to the other website.
Right, okay, yep. It looks, if you're not looking for it, it looks as though it's part of, I mean, if you didn't think about it, you would think it's part of the website that we pay for. So I just wanted to let everybody know, and I think you probably all know, or maybe any public that didn't, that's a separate function and a separate group. And that we may be underutilizing, we have there too.
We just want to make it easy to find things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
fine.
Click,
Yes.
the better.
We know enough about how bad is that we can make good.
Yeah, oh,
That's the best way
Lord.
to say it,
Mm.
Kurt, you have any?
Yeah, I was just going to say, when it comes to administrator rights for the web page, it seems to me that, every board member, or at least the supervisor, clerk, treasurer, should have the ability to, put things on the website and delete things. For me, that was one of the things that was frustrating, is I would have to put something down in writing, hand it to Rafiq, and then I'd have to, I'd be looking at the website and I would find things that were, meeting notice that was a week ago. And, we should be, if I see something like that, I don't want to have to write a note to somebody to say, hey, take that off. I should be able to have rights to just to go and click and delete it.
Well, one of the reasons for not letting you do that is because you're not a professional at doing that. And by having people who are not specifically trained in how to make additions and subtractions from the website, that increases the possibility of things getting messed up.
You can take a site down pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I think the answer though is that we make sure that those that have those admin privileges just have the training, because it really is not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard to
Right.
modify the website.
And bear in mind too, the WordPress that we have on our site right now is pretty cumbersome. It's outdated. And eventually that WordPress will get so outdated that the site will go down.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Mhm.
we can't really talk about the website at all. It is
No.
atrocious. Everything that could be wrong with it is wrong with it.
Pretty
We
much.
don't want to look over our shoulder at it at all.
No. Well, and I see STG has listed here on-site meetings and trainings. And they didn't limit it. I think one of the proposals I looked at said like 4 people at the training, which I don't know why it would matter how they're going to do a training, how many people are there to absorb the information. But I like that about STG as we're looking at these, that's something, and I'd be happy to learn. I would really want to restrain myself and make sure I didn't do something that I shouldn't. But I know what you mean, and sometimes things need to be done quickly. So,
Right.
And
And,
once you
you
get
know,
a little
I would-
comfortable with WordPress, you'll be able to maneuver around in it. You really will.
I would say that there's a lot of data, a lot of examples of where it would have been nice to get something off the website or to put something onto the website.
Yes.
Lots of examples of that.
Yes.
If we give people some more administrative rights, you know, you see how it goes. We kind of think there's this possibility that there could be all these issues with it. But, you know, why not cross that bridge if we ever get to it? We don't have any data that says that's going to happen.
Right.
And, you know, somebody has to do it, right? You need Rafiq or somebody. Why not have, you know, three people capable of doing it?
Well, partly because 3 people that are capable of doing it already have plates that are heaping full with,
Yeah.
you know, statutory duties and meetings. You know, Kurt, I know you're intimately aware of how many meetings the supervisor. So I mean, I'd be happy to know how to do it in a pinch, but I think, you know, hiring someone, or, you know, having STG do the whole wrap, and then also having people who are trained at the office who could, you know, do something on a dime. I think a balance of both of those things.
Well,
When
and
you-
something we have found in the offices because we weren't sure who was doing what, things were getting missed. So if we have that one point person in the office that we're sending things to, everybody knows to send it to that person. I don't think we'll see things getting missed. Because like, oh, did you put it on?
I hear
No,
right.
did you put it? You know, we weren't sure who was what to the website.
Exactly. You designate, first of all, we need to, you know, look further into their proposal, which I like as well, and find out what fully managed actually means. Then if it doesn't mean what we hope it means, then we
Mhm.
need to hire somebody. And that can be another person in the office, but it's a separate job, it's a separate line item, and they're paid differently to do that. And that's the point person all the information comes to them if we choose to do that. And they put it on, they do whatever it is they need to do to the website. But but there still needs to be somebody in the township hall that can do stuff in case, you know,
Absolutely.
everybody from this company is abducted by aliens and we have this important thing that needs to get up there. We have to have somebody who can do it.
I think they're fully managed. They really spell it out pretty well. Underneath option B, fully managed means fully managed. We just give them what we want and they do
I think that sounds dreamy.
it. Read it over.
I wonder what their turnaround time is.
Right, that's in that, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the,
but how quickly can they do things? Because some things aren't immediate and some things need quick attention.
and you know, it may be something that really needs quick attention. We have to take care of it ourselves.
That's right. That could be. That's true.
Right.
That's where we'd have people here. All right, well, it sounds like we've got a few questions for STG, just making sure do we need to be sure we're clear on the fully managed? They could even just say we spell that out there. You know, following up with them on the pages on the gold package versus silver package.
Right.
I can volunteer to do that if you want.
Great, thank you. Were there any other questions people can think of? We might have missed. And then are there any questions we want to ask of any of the other companies that submitted quotes? Just STG sounds like. Okay.
I'll get a hold of them tomorrow. And as soon as I get an answer out of them, I'll send it around to everybody.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll just add this item to the August agenda,
Yep.
which is getting pretty heavy. It feels like it's getting,
That should
This
be,
is really important.
it should be a formality at that point. Okay. All right, we'll put it on the August agenda. Thank you, Rod, for following up,
sure.
sending that around. Any other comments before we move on?
So one of the, yes.
Good.
One of the questions, Rod, that you're going to ask them is about whatever the process is that people can pay their tax bills or whatever, how to make that happen. Can they help us make that
I'll
happen?
ask them, but like I told you, everybody uses a third-party company.
Right. But can they choose that? I mean, they're in the biz, so they're going to know who to use and who not to use. We've never used anybody, so we basically don't know anything.
I have a treasurer's group for that.
Awesome.
We discussed that.
Oh, yay.
You know, when I go to purchase license plate tabs, credit card is an option, but they charge you an extra, percent or two to do it. So I just mail in the check. I
Mhm.
wonder how many people in Sylvan Township really are wanting to pay their tax bill over the internet, especially if they have to pay extra to do it.
They
Well,
will.
if they don't have the option, we'll never know.
They do have to pay extra, Kurt. They have to pay the fee, and then they have to pay the company a fee. They get a double fee to pay by credit card.
Hmm.
And to some people, it's worth that convenience.
Yeah, not to me.
Well, it'd be interesting just to see, what it costs, what it would
Right.
be. If
Yeah, I've
it's
got
too much, it's too much.
I've got it down here.
All right. And then the pages, and then would you ask, I mean, I don't know, maybe we don't need to ask what their turnaround time is. Like, what do we think? Like, yeah, when we send you something, how quickly could you make that change happen? And
Absolutely.
then the pages type of thing.
Which brings me back to why not empower more people at the township hall to do it? I'm not saying you have to do it, but it would be nice. I'd like to have the option of being able to going to the website, looking at it and saying, wow, this looks awful. This should have been pulled a week ago, and have the ability to just go and pull it versus me contacting somebody and saying, can you pull that off the site? Because that's what's been happening in the past.
Well, you had a horrible website. When you have a good website, it will be taken care of much better.
One of the things I know on the front page, I've just sat with Susan sometimes or seen her when she's posting things to the website. And I think you can put like a date that it fades away. I don't know what like an end
Yeah.
date. When you put a
Yes.
form on there, if you put an agenda on there, it's for the 22nd, then you can put down on the 23rd, we want that to disappear
Yeah.
from the front page. Now we got the minutes on demand that will archive that, and that document should be there, forever or, so I think there's supposed to be a way that maybe that would happen. But again, Kurt, I would love to sit in on a training and at least know a little bit about how to, make changes to the supervisor's page. If there's something that, seems like, oh, it's a typo, and then I got to send an email to correct when I could just go in and correct it myself. So I'd be happy to sit on a training. I don't want to be the person to do that, but I'd be happy to sit in so that what I could take care of, I can. But I think we're a little bit in a bad habit at the township too, of kind of like absorbing more and getting
Yes.
people to do more, and
Yes,
it's difficult and it causes a lot of burnout. And
yes.
so I'm,
But I mean, on the other hand, if I have to write a note to Rafiq to say to take this off, that's a cumbersome process. It's creating work for me. It's creating work for Rafiq.
well,
We're
and
our own worst enemy.
And I'd be happy to do small changes like that. Like I said, if it's a typo or there's, a document I see needs to go, as I'm perusing around, I'm happy to do that. But if someone, needs a change or sees a change, I think we should have someone that would go to. But I definitely hear you. We don't want to just be, creating more billable hours or more, hourly rates for sending things. And
Now, if I see something that I have to delete, now I got to contact the single point at Sylvan Township, and then they contact the web firm, and it's just creating this process.
But it's also safe. It's safe. It keeps the
It's
Cumbersome-
website safe.
cumbersome.
Well, we can do what we can do, but there are things that are outside the supervisor, treasurer, clerk, really bailiwick.
Right.
So we can do what we can do, but we also need to have somebody else. Because we three
Yeah.
cannot be, the website masters or something like that. So, I'm happy again to do minor changes and little things and sit in on a training. But I'm not willing to take on a whole lot more than that.
I'm willing to do it too.
Yeah, I mean,
So a
we
good
should all
question
sit
then,
in, but
a good question to ask them is what is the turnaround time and what should we reasonably expect?
mhm.
And the piece of adding somebody from our end to do things in case their turnaround time is not what we would like it to be.
Well, they've said that both can do it. They said that in the proposal, that they can take on the day-to-day, but we can also do it.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion on the website?
Pretty spirited discussion.
Yeah, this is good. I like it.
What-
All right, so then if we're finished with that, I'm gonna move on. Another public comment. Is there anyone in the public who'd like to comment at this time?
There we go. Patrick has
Going
his hand.
once, going up.
Hey,
Hi.
I had a thought. We were talking about the document repository, right? That we get from Documents on Demand. And I wonder if we can build that into the website so we can get 2 for 1, have that embedded in the website. And we may save ourselves, what is it, $900 a year on Documents on Demand fees if we're able to do that. I'm almost certain that there is a way to manage a document repository through the website. I'll bet we could manage it so that you could upload documents to Google Drive and have them automatically appear on the website, which is probably a much simpler process than you're doing for Documents on Demand right now.
Hmm,
I can
So
ask.
that's yeah, it's something to ask people.
Okay.
As far as the concerns about having too many people with editing privileges and the damage that they could do probably by accident, right? But
Yeah.
that's one more reason to make sure that we pick a tool that's very user-friendly for editing. I don't know every tool, but based on my experience with Squarespace, I couldn't recommend them any more highly than I do. I mean, I really recommend them. I know WordPress has improved a lot too, though. So,
Yeah.
but if you make it user-friendly enough, deleting a couple lines of text, taking a file off of a page shouldn't be a big deal.
Mhm.
I would worry more about if the admin privileges got in too many hands that somebody could do something malicious.
Mhm.
That's,
I would hate to think that somebody would, but you're right.
I mean, probably nobody in this meeting, but
No.
Mhm.
if it gets out to be too many people, right? It could.
You're
Well, it's,
right.
It has to be controlled very well.
it's always trackable to see who did
Absolutely.
what.
That's right.
All right, well, thank you, Patrick. There's nobody else, so Board of Trustee member comments? I would just like to let the board know, I know we're all getting a lot of stuff from MTA that I am applying for the American Rescue Plan funds. The deadline to apply is July 27th. That's next Tuesday. There are multiple hoops to jump through and forms to fill out and websites to go to make sure your information's correct. So I'm waiting on one last piece to confirm our banking information, and then I'll have all the documents ready to submit. So I know we've been all getting hammered with emails. We talked to Attorney Thal today, and I think he said he asked me if we were, getting going on it. I think he said only over about 400 municipalities have applied for the funds, and I think there's like over 1,200 that are eligible too. So, so I want to let you know that's in process. I'm moving forward on that, and hopefully, at the August meeting, that will be a done deal. So I'm going to meet that target date. And then we have a substantial period of time where we can determine how we want to spend those funds. So this initial application is just to say, yes, we want it. And then there's a lot of information. One of the things they want me to sign, or they would like us to say, is that we are going to adopt certain policies. One of them is like a conflict of interest policy. Mr. Thal sent me a sample one today because all the municipalities are going through this. So they have sample templates. So I'll send that around. We have time to get those in place as well. So this first step that's due Tuesday is just to say we do want the funds and get the right forms in. So it's moving.
I just want to thank everybody for a very good conversation tonight. I think this was very productive.
It makes me so happy.
Hey, wonderful. I agree. I thought it was great. It was a lot of paperwork to look through. I'll tell you that. So thank you, board members, for looking through it all. It was for a single topic. That was probably the biggest board packet we've ever had. Only have one item with 168 pages. So
What a
thank you.
Yeah.
One quote was most of it.
Yeah, it was. All right, Sandy, Amanda, Kurt, Brad, anybody? Okay, well then we'll have a motion to adjourn. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So motion to adjourn at 7:55. And who, Amanda, did you get whoever seconded?
I think Sandy did.
It was Sandy, right? Okay. All right, we'll do a roll call vote because we're still Zoom. So Rod,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
Kathy, yes. Motion carries.
All right.
All right, thanks, everybody. Great
Good night,
meeting.
everyone.
All right, good night.
Thank you.